The story begins in a casino in China, where a film producer is talking with a few scriptwriters. He is extremely angry at one of them for failing to deliver the script on time. Here, we are also introduced to Zhang, another scriptwriter whose dream is to one day make a film based on his own story. But as we all know, making a movie requires a huge amount of money, and right now, Zhang doesn't have anywhere near that much. That's why he's working for this film producer. Today, he has come here to meet him. However, when Zhang sees the producer beating up another scriptwriter, he becomes terrified, because his own script isn't finished yet either. So before the producer can say anything, Zhang apologizes and asks for one more month to complete his script. But the furious producer gives him only 4 days. If Zhang fails to complete the script within that time, he'll have to return all the money the producer paid him, or face death at the producer's hands. Hearing this, Zhang returns home in despair and starts working on the remaining part of his script. But despite putting in a lot of effort, he can't seem to write anything worthwhile. Frustrated, he starts throwing things around the room and finally sits down quietly with a beer in his hand. That's when his eyes fall on a small box lying nearby, something his grandfather had left for him before passing away. Inside the box, Zhang finds a letter written by his grandfather. But since he's already quite drunk, he dozes off while reading it. In his dream, he sees his grandfather, who tells him about a hidden treasure. His grandfather reveals that many years ago, he buried a large amount of gold under their ancestral property, gold worth millions in today's market. Before his death, he wanted to hand over that treasure to Zhang's father. But before he could, he passed away suddenly, and later the government demolished their ancestral home to build a prison on that land. Suddenly, Zhang wakes up, startled and completely sober after seeing his grandfather in the dream. He looks back at the box and finds an old map and a gold bar inside. When he compares that map with the prison's current layout, he's completely shocked. The two maps perfectly match. This confirms it for Zhang. The gold is buried right under that prison. Determined, he decides to enter the prison no matter what and recover his family's treasure. That treasure could make his dream of producing his own movie come true. To carry out his plan, he steals his neighbor's laptop and throws it off a building. As punishment for this crime, he's sentenced to a few months in jail. The police arrest him and send him to the same prison built on his ancestral land. Once inside, Zhang notices the prisoners throwing a grand birthday party for an inmate named Crab. After the celebration, Crab approaches Zhang to introduce himself. They were actually in the same cell. Coincidentally, Crab once had a close friend who was also named Zhang. Because of this, he quickly befriends Zhang and promises to protect him from other inmates. But Zhang isn't here to make friends. He came only to retrieve the buried treasure. Inside the prison stands an old tree, and according to the map, there should be a well near it. That's where his grandfather supposedly hid the gold. While wandering around the prison, Zhang meets another inmate named Uncle Li. During their conversation, Uncle Li explains that the prison is divided between 2 gangs, and every new prisoner must join one of them. The first gang is Crab's, which tries to maintain peace and protect its members. The second one belongs to Brother Tiger, a brutal and violent prisoner who loves tormenting others. Uncle Li warns Zhang that if he ever gets into trouble with the warden, he might still survive, but if he crosses Brother Tiger, he won't live to tell the tale. Before their conversation ends, Tiger's gang members arrive and drag all the new prisoners before Tiger himself. The newcomers are ordered to join Tiger's gang, but those who refuse are viciously tortured. Seeing all this, Zhang realizes he has no choice. Remembering Uncle Li's warning, he reluctantly agrees to join Tiger's gang. But to become a member, each recruit must perform a disgusting ritual, drinking tea mixed with Tiger's spit. Helplessly, everyone drinks it. But when Zhang's turn comes, just as he's about to drink, Crab and his gang suddenly burst in. Crab tells Tiger that Zhang is his cellmate and his close friend, so he's already part of their gang. Hearing this, Tiger becomes furious and vows to make Zhang's life a living hell from that day onward. Later that afternoon, while Zhang is eating, Tiger and his gang come over to harass him again. They try to force him to eat food mixed with dead cockroaches. But just then, Crab walks in and sees what's happening. As a result, a fight breaks out between the 2 gangs. Anyway, the next day, Zhang is assigned to various cleaning duties around the prison. But his mind is elsewhere. All he can think about is finding the well marked on the old map. the one supposedly hiding the buried gold. Using cleaning as an excuse, he secretly searches for it. However, despite all his efforts, he can't find anything. Later, he visits the prison library, where he uncovers some surprising information. Apparently, a few years ago, large parts of the prison were demolished and rebuilt. That's probably why the treasure ended up buried even deeper underground. He also learns that a new map of the rebuilt prison exists, stored in the file room. Just as Zhang is lost in thought, Tiger and his gang sneak up from behind and attack him brutally. For the rest of the day, Zhang is nowhere to be found. When his work shift ends and he doesn't return, Crab gets worried and confronts Tiger, asking where Zhang is. Tiger says he'll tell him, but only on one condition. Crab must drink his spit-tainted tea. Having no other choice and desperate to save his friend, Crab agrees. After all, he had grown to care deeply for Zhang. Tiger takes advantage of this weakness and humiliates Crab in front of everyone before revealing that his beloved friend is lying in the prison garbage dump. Crab rushes there and finds Zhang tied up tightly, his hands and legs bound and his face wrapped in plastic. Just in time, Crab manages to save Zhang's life. Seeing his friend in such a pitiful state, Crab swears he'll make Tiger pay for this, no matter what. Zhang agrees, though his mind is occupied by a completely different plan. He decides that when the two gangs clash again and the guards get distracted by the chaos, he'll use that moment to steal the new prison map from the file room. The next day, his plan unfolds exactly as intended. The two gangs face off, and a massive fight erupts. Amid the chaos, Zhang manages to pickpocket a guard's key and tries to open the file room. But before he can finish, Tiger and his men catch him and beat him mercilessly. During the beating, Zhang accidentally drops the key and loses it. Eventually, the guards regain control of the prison and lock everyone up in the dark cells. Inside his cell, Zhang feels completely hopeless. Now he believes there's no way he can retrieve his family's buried gold. In anger and frustration, he lashes out at Crab, telling him he doesn't need his protection anymore. He says that ever since Crab entered his life, things have only gotten worse. He begs Crab to stop involving him in pointless fights and to just leave him alone. Crab is deeply hurt by these words. All he ever wanted was to protect Zhang. A while later, Zhang realizes he was wrong. Crab truly has been looking out for him like a real friend. Sometime later, Crab apologizes to Zhang and confides in him that the only people he truly cares about in this world are his friends and his only daughter. He is no one else. That's why he treats Zhang like his closest friend. Every time Tiger tries to hurt Zhang, Crab loses control and gets into fights with him. Crab then reveals that he once had a best friend, also named Zhang. They were inseparable. One day, that friend sacrificed his life while saving Crab from his enemies. Since that day, Crab swore he would protect every friend he had, as long as he was alive. Hearing this, Zhang feels terrible. He apologizes and finally tells Crab the real reason he came to prison: to recover the buried gold hidden somewhere beneath it, left by his ancestors. Crab, seeing how important this is, agrees to help, without asking for any share of the gold, since it rightfully belongs to Zhang's family. Together, they come up with a new plan to steal the map. According to the plan, they go to the laundry room, where they sprinkle a certain powder on a guard, the one who carries the file room key. Within minutes, the guard's skin starts burning badly. Pretending to help him, they rush him to the emergency room. Meanwhile, disguised in the guard's uniform, Zhang sneaks into the file room and successfully steals the new prison map. The map reveals that the treasure isn't buried anywhere else. It's right under the laundry room. Following the map, Zhang and Crab head to the laundry room and discover a hidden basement beneath it. Inside, they find a huge wall. Zhang becomes convinced that his family's gold lies just behind it. But to break through, they'll need tools, a drill, and 2 hammers. Zhang quickly comes up with an idea. He removes the motor from one of the washing machines and, using a bucket and some wire, rigs up a makeshift drill. Once the guard on duty completes his inspection and leaves the area, Zhang and Crab start drilling into the wall. After piercing through, they strike it several times with the hammers until the wall finally collapses. To Zhang's astonishment, behind the wall are the remnants of his ancestral property, still preserved under the prison. Without wasting a second, Zhang begins searching for the gold. Meanwhile, Crab stands guard above, keeping watch in case any wardens or guards approach. Time passes, but Zhang can't find any gold anywhere. Exhausted and defeated, he finally gives up hope. Zhang sits down in despair. He begins to think that someone must have already taken the gold before him. His lifelong dream shatters in an instant. But just as they are about to leave, Crab moves a piece of wood from the wall, and suddenly, a hidden chest pops open behind it. Inside lies the treasure Zhang's grandfather had spoken of, the ancestral gold bars, worth millions. Zhang is completely stunned at the sight. But now they face a new challenge: how to get the gold out of the prison. From the very beginning, Crab had helped Zhang in every step of the search, so Zhang offers him a share of the gold. But though Crab is a criminal, he is not greedy. He refuses, saying that this treasure rightfully belongs to Zhang's family alone. In this moment, Crab shows what true friendship really means. They bring the gold up from the basement and come up with a plan. They'll sneak the gold out using the laundry truck that leaves the prison every month. The next scheduled departure is on the 22nd, the same day Zhang is set to be released after finishing his sentence. But the problem is that there's still a long time left before the 22nd. Until then, they must hide the gold from everyone's eyes. Zhang comes up with an idea. He places all the gold bars inside a bucket filled with acid. Since acid cannot melt gold, and no one would dare touch such a bucket, it's the perfect hiding place. Finding his family's treasure fills Zhang's heart with joy. Finally, his dream can come true. He'll be able to make a film based on his own story. But the next day, Tiger attacks them again. A violent fight breaks out between the three of them, and during the scuffle, the bucket of acid falls, exposing the hidden gold. Hearing the commotion, the guards rush in. In a panic, Zhang and Crab quickly hide the gold again and pretend nothing happened. Zhang claims he only fell by accident and that Crab was helping him up. To avoid getting into trouble, Zhang agrees with whatever Tiger says, but this deeply hurts Crab. He realizes that to Zhang, the gold matters more than their friendship. Heartbroken, Crab decides to cut ties with him. That same day, Crab's sick daughter visits him in prison. Her health is deteriorating fast, and she needs a major operation soon. She might not survive. All she wants is to see her father beside her one last time. Crab now desperately needs to get out of prison early, but his sentence isn't over yet. So he approaches Zhang, setting their past differences aside, and asks him to plan an escape together. He doesn't want any share of the gold. He just wants to see his daughter before she dies. Tiger, however, doesn't want Crab to join them. At first, he refuses to help, but Zhang convinces him somehow, and the three of them begin plotting their escape plan. In just 3 weeks, a grand prison ceremony is scheduled. That will be their chance. According to the map, there's an old underground tunnel that leads directly to the sea. On the day of the ceremony, they'll use it to escape. But another problem arises. The ceremony is still 3 weeks away, while Zhang is due to be released next week. Without Tiger and Crab, it will be impossible to smuggle the gold out. So Zhang decides to extend his sentence deliberately. He conspires with Tiger and Crab. They start another gang fight inside the prison. The chaos gets so bad that the guards are forced to lock them all up again and add extra days to their sentences. Time passes, and finally, the day of the ceremony arrives. All prisoners are tasked with decorating the prison. Taking advantage of this, Zhang and Crab fill balloons with a special gas that can cause small explosions. Their plan: when the explosions start, everyone will panic, and in that chaos, they'll escape through the tunnel. The ceremony begins. The prison warden delivers his speech in front of all the inmates. At that moment, the balloons start to explode one by one. The loud blasts throw the entire prison into confusion. While the guards rush to control the situation, the three of them quietly enter the tunnel and start moving forward. But during the escape, Zhang injures his leg badly, and blood begins to pour out. Crab quickly wraps the wound with plastic to stop the bleeding. They have no choice but to keep going. They push through the dark tunnel, crawling for what feels like hours, until they finally reach the end of the passage. Meanwhile, word reaches the warden that 3 prisoners are missing. Guards begin searching the entire prison. At the tunnel's end, the 3 fugitives find a massive concrete wall blocking their way. According to the map, the sea lies just beyond it, so they use a homemade bomb to blow the wall open. Beyond it lies the open night sky and the roaring ocean. Tiger and Crab had already prepared a boat there earlier. They just need to descend using a rope. But at the very last moment, Tiger betrays them. He pulls out a knife and tries to stab Crab. When Zhang intervenes to save him, he gets wounded instead. Tiger had planned all along to kill them both and take all the gold for himself. As Zhang lies bleeding, a fierce fight breaks out between Tiger and Crab. Tiger overpowers Crab and beats him brutally. Zhang pleads with Tiger to take all the gold if he wants, but to spare Crab's life. Tiger ignores him completely. He intends to kill them both and escape with everything. He pushes Crab toward the cliff edge, but by sheer luck, Crab manages to grab a rope hanging nearby, the other end held tightly by Zhang. Seeing the two of them helpless, Tiger laughs maniacally, mocking them both. But remember, when true friends stand together, anything is possible. Just then, Crab took advantage of the moment and pushed Tiger down. Along with Tiger, all the gold fell deep into the sea. After that, Zhang tried to pull Crab up. At that very moment, flashes of memories with Crab came before his eyes, all the moments they had spent together. Crab had truly been his real friend, someone who had stood by him from the beginning, protected him, and acted like a true companion. After several desperate attempts, Zhang finally managed to pull Crab up. Luckily, both of them survived, though all the gold was lost forever. A few moments later, the prison guards arrived there. They both surrendered. Days later, the jailer called Zhang and Crab to his office and informed Crab that his daughter was now safe. Her operation had been successful, and she had survived. The jailer also gave Zhang some good news. The gold that had been lost in the sea had been found. After a thorough investigation, it was confirmed that the gold legally belonged to Zhang. It was his ancestral property. Finally, the government returned all the gold to Zhang. His hard work and determination finally paid off. And with that, the movie comes to an end. So friends, how did you like today's story? It truly was an amazing one, wasn't it? Share your thoughts about the story in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to give it a like and share it with everyone. And yes, make sure to subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon, so you'll be the first to get notified whenever a new video is uploaded. Thank you so much for watching the video till the end.